Wanting to be motivated begins by being motivated. Most people look to the world to find motivation. If you desire to be motivated and stay motivated, you need to be somebody that motivates. We're going to break on down motivation 101. That's right. So if you want to be somebody who is motivated, you've got to be somebody that motivates. So the truth is, motivation is a lie, meaning that motivation, most people put the power outside of themselves. So we've all been there. We've gone to the Tony Robbins seminars. We've gone to Landmark Forum. We've done all these things that have us motivated. We go, we're like, rah, 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 we're on top of the world. And then we go home and then we go, wah, 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 and then we're not so motivated, right? Or we start that diet on Monday. We like see that video. We're like all motivated. We start going, we sign up for the gym. We buy new groceries. We do all this. And then like 2 weeks into it, we're like, wah, wah, wah. What's going on, right? So here's the deal. I have worked with top celebrities. I've worked with top CEOs. I've worked with hundreds of girls, thousands of girls around the globe, coaching and figuring out what it is that is holding them back from success or not success in their goals. And this is something that I think that very few people even take a look at. A goal without 1,000% commitment is self-torture. I'm going to say that again. A goal without 1,000% commitment is self-torture. One of my jobs as a coach, as a doctor of divinity, to help people really have true transformation in their life and birth their truth and live their truth and no longer have to look for motivation, is to have them really get clear of what they're truly committed to. And the gap between having a goal and wanting to get motivated and the reality of who you are and what you're really embodying, that is the gap of suffering. That is the gap of self-torture. So what do we want to do? We want to close that gap. We either want to have you rise up to that goal, or we want to get you having realistic goals that are going to be able to be 1,000% committed to. Okay. So I remember, of course, diets fail, working hard fails, willpower is a bunch of crap if it's not backed by a true decision. So as a doctor of divinity and somebody who teaches the metaphysics and understands that the subconscious mind, the divine mind, the part of you that has already programmed into your subconscious, the beliefs, it's how you be and live, it is the true essence of who you are, it's what you're embodying, is really where we want to work at. Because motivation, if you got to look to the world, if you got to look to some leader, if you got to look to whatever, it's not going to happen. It's really in the power decision. When somebody comes to work for me or they sign up for Soul Society, it's the decision in mind. That's why it's important to actually pay for a course, to pay for a course. The more you pay, the more committed you're going to be, right? So that's the true motivation. It is your decision and always your decision. If you're in a course or working with a coach or mentor that says you need to come to me, like a psychic or something that says you need to come to me for the answers, I would run for the hills, okay? You want to work with somebody that's going to teach you how to get clear of what you're truly committed to so that motivation is your essence, right? Okay, so I'm going to say this again. So everything in transformation work is counterintuitive, okay? So most people want to get motivated. Most people want to basically look to the world. They want to turn on YouTube. They want to go to that conference. They want to do whatever. But this is the deal. Wanting to be motivated begins by motivating. Okay. Most people look to the world to find motivation, but if you desire to be motivated and stay motivated, you need to be somebody that motivates, okay? I do not want to ever be considered somebody that motivates. I actually do not believe in motivation because I believe in transformation. I believe in awakening. A motive, if you look down up etymology of motivation, it is a motive. It is a reason outside yourself that is a justification of why you are inspired or why you're doing what you're doing. I don't believe that. I believe that it is all about pure creative, a decision in mind to be something, to embody something. And in that, of course, there's side effects of that, which are high energy, which is the radiance, which is the motivation factor of who you are. So my job as a coach, if you will, is not to motivate somebody, not to tell them what their truth is, but to inquire into them, to help them actually release the limited beliefs, release the identity, release trying to keep up with the Jones, release with trying to keep up with that motivation speaker, and find their authentic swing, okay? When I work with somebody, one of the primary things that coaches will ask is, why am I not having success? Why do I not have enough money? Why do I not blah, blah, blah? I can't, there's like a gap here, right? So we're trying to close that gap. And the number one thing that holds coaches back is that they're being inauthentic. I'm going to say that again. It's that they're being inauthentic, okay? So the truth is that if you desire to be motivated, you have to be motivating. The reason why it's this thing that is like spiraling up, like people go, how do you do everything you do? How do you have this motivation? How do you whatever? It's because when you do this, it's the law of correspondence, which we're going to get into in a minute, but it's what you give has to come back, right? So if I'm giving inspiration, I'm giving motivation, I'm giving transformation, I'm giving awakening, I'm giving all these things, so that's really what I'm embodying. And that's where I'm transcending into people's consciousness. That comes back exponentially, right? So if you want to be motivated, you have to be motivating. You have to be that, right? Motivation is a motive outside, which I do not consider myself that, but I do consider myself to be inspiring, meaning inspired action, meaning authentic action that is backed by the true essence of who you are. I've seen people get 10 times the energy they've had just because they birth their truth. They're no longer trying to keep up with the Jones. They're no longer trying to be something that they're not. They give up the willpower, if you will, trying to do something. They give up the diets. They give up trying to keep up with the Gary V, okay? And they come into their own authentic swing, and they come into their own authentic self. However, the more you give, the more you receive. This is a law of correspondence, okay? So if you want to have more money, you've got to give money. If you want to experience more love, you've got to give love. If you want to feel more in motivation, you've got to give motivation. If you want to have more inspired action, you've got to help other people find their inspired action. It's that simple. It is a give it. It's a law of correlation. What you give responds exponentially through the law of cause and effect, through the law of correspondence, okay? So it's super important that we recognize that motivation is not the truth. There's no such thing as motivation. There's a power of mind, and there's a decision in mind, and there's embodiment. Motivation means you have a motive outside of yourself, which is never the truth. The primary work we do in spirituality is no longer placing our power out in the world, no longer looking for the justifications or the reasons or whatever, right? We literally do not look to the world for anything. We seek to know thyself, to get out of the way. Our only job is to get out of the way, to release the limited beliefs, to release all those things that we need motivation out there, and become the embodiment of what we want to be, what we want to stand for in this life, okay? So the next is a goal without 100% commitment is self-torture. So again, the primary work I do when I'm working with coaches in particular, and they're like, why am I having a hard time with money? Why am I having a hard time with this? Well, what did you want? I thought I wanted to sign up for this laptop lifestyle. And now I'm just working all the time. I don't want to do it. Well, I go, well, what would you be doing if you won the lottery? Would you be doing what you're doing? Well, no, I wouldn't be working this hard. I'd be kind of traveling. I'd be working a little bit here and there and whatever. I go, well, then it's not authentic. So we've got to find your authentic swing to be in your motivation. When you are doing what you love to do, regardless of keeping up with the Jones, regardless of the money, when you do what you truly love to do, that's when there's inspired action. That is the motivation. The motivation is that you love it, that you love what you do so much, not because of reason, not because some guru, not because you went to the seminar, not because you finally got on that diet, not because of whatever, because you are living your truth. That's why live your truth is, for me, the greatest motto ever. That is my affirmation. That is my life. That is the way, because I know when you birth your truth, you live inspired, okay? If you're sitting on the couch and you're watching Netflix, maybe that's your truth. Kind of highly doubt it, because generally when people sit on the couch for too long and they're doing whatever, they start to get more and more depressed because they're not living their truth. They are waiting for somebody to motivate them. So why do you not feel motivated? It's clear, because you are sabotaging yourself. You have not done your inner work to really birth that truth. And instead, you're living out of past programming and past things that are basically having you sabotage. I'll never be enough. That success isn't for me. It's only for them. I'm different. Something's wrong with me. on and on and on. The commands, the commands, the commands. And we all know this so well. Everybody these days teaches how to release limited beliefs. But there is a primary way that I've found to release limited beliefs, and it is through the E4 trauma method. It's really getting clear and releasing all those things that you don't even know are in your consciousness. You don't even know that are in your subconscious mind. You don't even know that are sabotaging you. You don't even know that it's having you stay on the couch and watch Netflix all day. You have no idea because it's in your subconscious mind. This sabotage, this sabotage, this sabotage. When you release those limited beliefs, when you release the emotions around the trauma, it is natural to have inspired action, okay? We no longer are going to do the whole motivation thing because motivation is a motive outside of ourselves, and we never look to the world for a reason, for a justification, for anything. We only seek to know thyself. And when we know thyself, when we birth thy truth, that is when we're on fire, right? We don't have to become motivated. We are motivation, right? So we talk about this today. With the law today is the law of correspondence. So again, if you want to be somebody that gets motivated, you have to become somebody that motivates. If you want somebody that wants to have abundance, you've got to give value and help people get more prosperity. If you want to have more love in your life, you've got to be somebody that gives love, right? Without conditions, without making people wrong, with having expectations and all this BS, right? So it is the law of correspondence. There's only one law, and it's the law of cause and effect. And the cause is you. It's the cause of spirit. It's the cause of consciousness. But it's broken down into different distinctions. Today is a law of correspondence. The correspondence is this: life is the ultimate mirror of consciousness. This is the concurrence of the creative process. The spiritual realm through the mental realm, which is basically the use of the one mind, the use of the universal law, into the physical. And it burrs out through the subjective mind that is in one mind with all of life. It is all a correspondence. Life is the ultimate mirror. And so your beliefs set this law into motion. You are the only person that can stifle the process of your use, of the receptivity of your allness. You are the only one. Your mind is the only thing that can stop abundance, that can stop love, that can stop persevering, that can stop inspired action, that can stop from being the most motivating person on this planet. You, my dear, my everything, are the only person, the only thing that can stop you. The only thing, not the coronavirus, not the lockdown, not anything, because you can always innovate. You can motivate and inspire right from your living room. It's really simple, okay? Your ability to manifest, to demonstrate, are in direct correlation to your ability to provide a mental equivalent in your mind and soul. How do you do a mental equivalent in your mind and soul? You get the frick out of the way. You do your inner trauma work. You release the limited beliefs. You neutralize the emotions on your past traumas. You release and your expression of your genes. You are stifling your genes by your limited beliefs, by the stress in your mind. You, my dear, are the only thing that can get in the way. You are the greatest motivation factor. You are the only factor. You are source. You are spirit. You are the divine. And you, my dear, are God. You are the individual consciousness, the collective consciousness, and the cosmic consciousness all in one, experiencing yourself as divided. But the truth is, you are not divided. You are divine. That's right. So today, as we go into this world, the outer world is a reflection of the inner world. As within, so without. I simply know that if you want to be motivated, you've got to be motivating. And motivating begins by inspired action. Within, it is an embodiment, and wherever you go, you're going to motivate anybody because they're going to see and go, I don't know what, I want what she has, right? We all got messed up, all these years by just realizing and thinking it's out there, and it's not. Okay, so the next section we're going to go into, you guys, is Q&A. Q&A. I love this. So you can actually text or call me, and the number for that is what is it? What is it? Hold on one second. I gotta get her real quick. It is 538. Let me just make sure I get this here. It's 232-538 Erin, which is 3746. So that's 323-538 Erin, Erin 3746. Okay. So you can text or message whatever questions you have. So the question today is, there's a few questions. I keep looking to relationships to motivate me and inspire me. I don't know how to break the cycle. Let me tell you that I would say 9 out of 10 people I've worked with are dealing with codependency. Okay. So don't feel like something's wrong with you. Just know that you are, it's very natural. If you were born into our culture, you're programmed. You're programmed to seek your fulfillment, your all from whoever you're with. Okay. Hence, we all watched the movie Jerry Maguire when Tom Cruise said, you complete me, and that this doesn't work. This doesn't work, okay? It's time for us to wake up and know the truth, okay? So again, it's the same concept, right? Expecting to find the perfect partner starts with becoming the perfect partner, okay? The truth is there's no perfect partner, and there's always a perfect partner, right? We're perfectly imperfect, right? So people want to be with people that inspire them. So if you don't inspire, lift up, or make their life better, you will, if you complain, if you become entitled, if you bring nothing to the table, guess what? Most likely you'll get dumped or cheated on or broken up with. But that's old school. That's still trying to figure out to have this entity called a perfect relationship. And we recognize now that we are moving away from that paradigm. In fact, only 15% of married people report being happy half the time. Okay, so something is broken in this system. And the broken system is the same thing that we're talking about in motivation. If we look to the world to be motivated, that's a lie. There's nothing that can ever motivate you out in the world. There's only inspired beingness inside, okay? It's the same relationship. If you look to a relationship and you assign it as your source of joy, you instantaneously assign it as your suffering. If the moment that we even consider that a thing, a person, anything can complete us, we are effed, okay? That's the truth, because guess what? We need to start looking to the world not to get something, but look to the world to become something. So this is the highest reverence ever, okay? I have friends that their ministry, their reverence, their daily spiritual practice is their relationship. They look to the relationship not to get something, but to become something. It is their daily spiritual practice to say, how can I serve this person? How can I see this person as their perfection? How can I be of service and really use this as the alchemy to basically neutralize and to become the highest version of myself? That's not my ministry. I mean, it is, in that my ministry around that is to see the perfection of every single person. But as a minister, I'm a minister of new thought. I'm a minister of the metaphysics. I'm the minister to teach us our true spirituality and awakening. So my ministry is to use every single day, every single thought, every single person, all of life as knowing of the development. I don't look to the world necessarily to teach, because I do that, but I look to the world to become the highest version of myself. And so my invitation for you and for all of us today is to, one, ask yourself, are you placing the power over to your relationships? Are you still getting upset in your relationship? Are you still projecting your belief systems, your BS, into your relationships? Are you still assigning that your life is not complete until you have a partner? Are you still thinking something's wrong if you don't have that perfect partner what the culture told you to, right? The truth is that it's great. Relationships obviously are everything. Doesn't mean it needs to be in one person. You can have many, many people in your life and have deep, deep love, okay? There's nothing wrong. You get to decide. And that's the part where, when dealing with a client with codependency, it's really redefining what your full expression is. It's about, are you fully expressed? Are you deeply connecting? Are you, able to really enjoy and see the perfection, the divinity in each human being? And whether that ends up in one person, or whether that ends up in multiple people, or whether that ends up in a lot of friends and somebody that you just have intimacy, or whatever that is, you get to decide. And there's no right way and there's no wrong way. That you get to birth your truth in knowing this. So motivation, just like love, just like health, just like it has to be generated from within. It is only generated from within, and life is literally just the mirror. So people go, well, the mirror is showing me that something must be wrong with me because I don't have a partner. Well, maybe you need to give up the concept that that's the greatest reflection. And maybe that is for you, and that's great. But if it's causing you angst, if it's causing you suffering to not have that, then you are informing into your subconscious mind and into the one divine mind that something is wrong, and therefore you're going to keep seeing what is wrong, what is lacking, what you don't have, instead of beginning to look and energizing what is there, having gratitude for what is there, seeing the beauty of what is there, and then developing more and more of that. Guess what? Most relationships don't end in I love you the first date, we're gonna get married. In fact, those never work out generally, okay? It's the ones that every single day they keep becoming best friends over and over again. They keep enjoying and having gratitude for what's there, and they keep asking themselves, what can I bring to this? How do I become something instead of how do I get something, and being entitled, right? So we have to look at all things, whether it be in motivation, whether it be in relationship, it's all the same things. We cannot place our value out in the world. We have to become. So the truth is we need to embody no longer looking to the world for things, but looking to the world to become something, okay? So what can you get instead of what can you become instead of what can you get? That is where we're at with all this. So I know and recognize right now, right here, the relationship mastery. It's something that we all have to master. And the reason why we have to master this is because all of life is a relationship, right? What motivates you? The only reason why anything would ever motivate you is because you have a relationship to whatever is motivating you. What is the meaning around it? What is the inspired thought about it? What's the programming around it? Life is a relationship. And what you're motivated is because it is something that you relate to in a motivated factor. So whether that be a relationship in your life, or whether that be the guru that you're looking to, or whatever that is, we have to know that if a guru is teaching you to need them like a psychic, it's trouble. The only teacher that I would ever work with and I ever recommend for you to work with is somebody who's teaching you how to find your own motivation, to find your own inspired action, to find your own love within, and is teaching you how to reflect that back exponentially. So the next question is what? Let's see. That's all. We already did that one. Okay. So what is looking to relationship to motivate me and inspire me? I don't know how to break the cycle. Okay, again, so codependency. So this is what I recommend for codependency. We got a little bit off topic here, but it's a good question, which we all relate to, because the opposite of being motivated is usually being completely sad or depressed, right? And a lot of the reasons why we're sad or depressed is because of money, because of relationship, because of our health. Those are the primary reasons, right? There's 4 areas of life. We call it the table of life. And basically we look to career and money, relationships and love, health and wellness, and creative expression. So if you're not motivated, you start looking to, these are the problems. I'm not motivated because let me tell you why. And you start looking again for the motivation of why you're not motivated, right? So you have 2 choices with the universal law. You can either begin to look to life to find the reasons why you're motivated, or you can look to life to find why you're not motivated. But the truth is, it has nothing to do with what's out there. It has everything to do with what's in here. So you need to stop looking and pointing and looking at the filter of why. Why am I motivated? Well, I'm not motivated because there's this thing called this quarantine. I'm not motivated because I don't have a job right now. I'm not motivated because I don't have a partner. I'm not motivated because I can't get out of the house. That's a lie, and that's a lie, and that's a lie. The truth is that you always have choice. There's always a way to find that inspired action. There's a way to work out in your house. There's a way to love via not even being able to ever even see anyone physically. You can get on the phone, you can get on everything. It's all a lie. The point is that you've got to have a point of a breaking point to say, what is going to motivate me? And you got to do the inner work. That's the only way to ever get to any of it. And so I recognize right now, I remember years back being that person. I was codependent. I would look to my relationships for my joy, and therefore I would suffer and be a roller coaster in relationships. I would project my crap into my relationships. I would make the person wrong. I would make them the source of everything. I'd want them to entertain me, motivate me, be there for me, all that bullshit, okay? What I did, I looked at everything. I looked at money, like I would be good enough if I had enough money, if I'm thin enough, if I'm whatever, if I X, Y, and Z, right? Always thinking that if I just had this, then I'll be motivated, then I'll be inspired. So it wasn't until I surrendered and realized none of this stuff is ever going to complete me. None of this stuff is ever going to make me happy. None of this stuff is ever going to fulfill that gap, that deep, deep desire, that divine discontent, as we call it, right? So it wasn't until I recognized that I had to surrender, I had to go beyond looking to the world. I realized that I literally, and it was hard. Like literally it was hard. It was like, well, if I'm not that, and I'm not someone's partner, and I'm not whatever, like if that's not what's going to fulfill me, then what is going to fulfill me? And it was in that deep, deep dying that I was recognized that my spiritual nature is really all that matters to me, because it's all I have. And that doesn't mean that my son doesn't mean the world to me, or my friends that I deeply love, or all the things. It's that I couldn't make that my source. I could no longer make those things my source of my identity, of what was making my life good or bad. I had to hand it over and recognize that all I have is connection to my higher self and the connection to serve. And that's what motivates me, is every single day, I call it my cold shower. Every single day I wake up and I get motivated in that cold shower when I think about the little girl that was 22 years old that was holding her dead baby in her arms at 22 after giving birth to my stillborn, and thinking that little girl didn't know anything, and that girl was suffering so bad inside. And what would help that little girl is truth. The only thing that ever could help was truth. When I was broken after codependency and in a terrible dysfunctional relationship with somebody who was a Grammy-winning musician who cheated on me, and I was wanting to commit suicide, I think about that woman and what would set her free, and it's truth. And so I recognize today as the only motivation that I come from is knowing that the truth definitely has set me free. And I know that that is the only thing that will ever set you free, is truth, is knowing yourself and revering what is inside of you. What is your legacy that you want to leave? And that is what we're here to birth for you and what we do in society. And so on that note, let's just take a deep breath together. Taking a deep breath in through the nose. Exhaling out through the mouth. Inhaling again through the nose. And exhaling out. And just recognize that the only source of any motivation is thyself, is to know thy truth. I recognize that there's no motive for being inspired. There is only the awakening of the truth, the spirit within, the knowingness and inspired action of being that which you truly desire to be for the highest good, to make a difference in the world, and to become the highest essence that transcends all suffering, all problems, and recognizes that goals are bullshit unless they are backed by true commitment, which really means from the heart, from a true, authentic perspective of something that you desire to be. And in this beingness, I know all inspired action, all motivation, all transcending, all prosperity, all love, all health, all wealth, everything coming from that one source, you. And so in this, I know that you have something to do. You have a gift, you have a message, and in that, go deep, go dark, go into that center, surrender, 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 giving up all things mentally, giving up all identities, and knowing that you will be reborn. It is your prophecy. It is your destiny. I simply know this in my mind, my heart, as together we say, and so it is. Okay, you guys, if you're the first time on the stream, I'm Dr. Erin. I'm a doctor of divinity. I'm a New Thought minister. I teach metaphysics. I teach awakening, and I actually train and develop women and men around the globe of how to birth their truth, how to really get clear of their true power through the E4 trauma method, releasing past traumas in this lifetime and past lifetimes so they can restore the truth of who they are, the I am, all pure potential. And then we get clear of what they truly want to embody in this life, getting clear of their core values, their core passions, and really embodying what matters to them through birthing their purpose and calling and leaving the legacy that they want. And then I help help them in their business development to take that voice, to take that message, and take their gifts to the world. I truly believe, and my mission is to awaken 1 billion people, and I know I am fulfilling upon that by developing world-renowned spiritual leaders and coaches and ministers and eventually doctors of divinity. So I'm so excited. It's a beautiful day, you guys. Have a beautiful day, and may you live the truth.